know when the camera is rolling. And I just wanted to check in with you guys today. Okay, it's the 2nd of November, and this is the Journey podcast, where an actual live study of the journey to greatness. Because right now we're not so great, but we're going to be. And we've got this amazing, I keep saying we, but it's just me. Just got this amazing video case study to show the entire way there, so that one day I can look back, our kids can look back, you can look back, an entire archive of what worked and didn't work. I think that's amazing because I don't know anyone else who's doing this. And it's not even about who's doing this, but it's more about the beauty of archiving. And so that you can trace back. Because, like, a lot of us journal. Okay. A lot of us do journaling when we feel bad and where something bad has happened. But how many of us journal when something good is happening? Right. So, anyways, today's episode is not really an episode. I just wanted to check in and without having a particular topic in mind, because I've been thinking about, and I know I say this a lot, but again, this is just the documentation. Every day it's like, should I post? Should I not post? I don't know. I don't know what to talk about. Every time I'm about to go live, I'm like, I don't know what to talk about. And then I have to come up with a title and a thumbnail on the spot. And that's pretty cool. Okay. This is also like a therapy of some sort, because I don't have to stay bottled in with my thoughts of constant epiphanies that are just firing and firing and firing. At least one thing I did realize is the moment I put it out in the form of a video or a piece of content, the neuro firing almost dies down a bit. Almost when I archive something, it's sealed and then done. Like, I don't think about it as much because um, I don't know. I don't know how this works. It's pretty weird, right? Let me know if you know how this works. I'd love to hear what you think about it. Anyways, so we went from posting every day to every 2 weeks or every 1 month. But we're gonna try and change that. We're gonna try and change that, seeing how healthy this is. And over the past 2 weeks since the last update, just a few days ago, I have started to learn Python. And if you don't know what Python is, it's a programming language. So it's learning how to code, basically. And Python is one of the most versatile languages out there that let developers have easy access. It has if I'm not mistaken, uh, a more beginner-friendly environment and commands. I'm not too sure what I'm talking about. I'm only on chapter 2, so I have this book teaching me how to Python. I'm still stuck in the hello world phase that I'm sure you know about. If you've ever done coding before, hello world is usually the first thing you're taught to do. I'm still stuck there because I'm having a lot of issues that are not related to coding. It's more about the program installation and then not finding the files to use the code for, which I guess is fine because now I'm learning exactly like what code is, and it's not just writing the stuff, but it's more about understanding that your computer is a machine that is meant to do one thing, which is to compute. Okay, now we're looking at the screens, the desktop, the user interface, the operating softwares, the browsers, but that's not really the computer. When you drill down into it, there's instructions you can just set, and your computer will just follow it. Like, so understand this: you open a window and you type something, and because that's all your computer is actually doing, the entire is just computing things, variables. It just responds, and it's pretty crazy. I've always known this, but now that I'm doing it, it's like a different kind of knowing. So it's almost like understanding something is different from knowing it. And the reason I just out of the blue started to learn software is well, I've tried to do it many times before in the past. I take a few tutorials. I do it for a couple weeks. I take notes, and then I'd drop it. Right, I drop the habit, and I'd forget about it. I think I've done that twice. I've tried to learn coding twice. The habit didn't stick. I just dropped it. I had no strong incentive. But a few days ago, my friend calls me, and he starts telling me about uh, making money through automation, right? And how creating an app with an automated feature that solves a problem can make you millions of dollars. Okay. And it sounds like the most cliche thing, like, oh yeah, make an app, make millions of dollars. But this is, he put it in really practical terms, as in not creating something like a Facebook or a WhatsApp, or it could be something as simple as a problem that's like that exists in like an organizational structure where you need to automate something. And I'm not going to go into too much details about it. It doesn't sound very interesting, but the main point is that I realized if I learned to enough code, not a master it, but enough code to make my own app, then that ultimately puts me in a place where I don't have to search for talent. So what I mean by that is a lot of the work I do is digital, and a lot of the work I do involves automation. But a big problem with automation is you have to pay for these services. And some of these services are actually pretty standard. Like the reason it's never appealed to me to do it myself was because I was like, man, that's going to take me years to learn just so I can do it, like where I can just pay someone a couple $100. But what really pointed to me out on my conversation with my friend is that just like anything else I've learned, it's just a matter of just reading the books, going through the tutorial phases, getting a general understanding of it, applying it, and then within 2 to 3 months, I'll know how to use the programs, and I'll know I'll be a generalist in whatever I was trying to learn. And so again, what was the major uh, through our conversation? The major takeaway was like, I don't have to do it myself, but it's doing it enough so that you can hire people to finish what it is you're trying to do. So instead of going to a developer and be like, hey man, help me create this app, right? And he's going to charge me, let's say, 12K or 3,000 or 7,000. There's so many different prices. Instead, now it's like I've built a skeleton for an app, and I go to a developer, I'm like, hey, can you help me create a code for calculating these series of events? And just because my app, my software already exists, he can just add into it, and then I pay less fees. I pay less. I only have to deal with freelancers every once in a while. And what's essential about this entire thing is if you're going into blockchain, if you're going into Internet of Things or machine learning, then knowing how to code, especially with Python, is key. And not knowing it actually puts you in a box where you're limited in what you can do. So I'm going to use this as a new skill to integrate into already what I'm doing, because I realize that learning to code is 100% aligned with where I'm planning to go after e-commerce and after digital marketing and architecture, where we're heading afterwards. Knowing how to code seems like a necessity versus a nice skill to have. And it's going to, so basically, I'm not going to tell you what I'm working on, because I don't want you to take my idea. Okay, I'm being honest with you. I want to make a blockchain app, an app using blockchain, and I'm super excited because for the longest time I didn't understand what blockchain looked like. How does it? How does someone make a blockchain? What do you have to do? And now I'm learning it, and now starting to make content. I'm like, wow, like what was this barrier of entry? It was just not knowing how to do it. And then when you ask yourself, what do I have to do to know this? You just, I mean, if you read a book, it just changes your mind. If you read a book about anything, it's just information. And it's not that you need a different type of understanding. It's just you just need a good teacher. So we're going to learn how to make a blockchain app. And over the next few months, we're going to use the tutorials to build the app. And then once we have enough infrastructure, going to start getting freelance developers to work on the things that I don't have the skills to master, because coding requires a lot of math. And like I said, I have very little free time on my hands, and I'm not trying to be a master coder. I just want to learn software, and we're going to create softwares that help us automate in our day-to-day life. So if you have a cat and it has like a automated cat food dispenser, so you can create a simple few instructions to tell that device only dispense food twice a day, right? And then you can automate it. So you see, it goes down to the simplest of things. It doesn't have to be grand, and it's not even about the money at this point. It's literally knowing this is going to help me be better at what it is I'm already trying to do. So now we're going to start coding our own app, and I'm super excited about it. It's a very simple app, the simplest as it can get. Nothing too crazy. No, I have zero expectations, but because it's something I'm just going that I've already been working on for a lot of years. It's not an app, it's a system. So I have a working system. Now I just need to automate it. How am I going to automate it? With an app. Yeah. So that's one of the few major things I've been working on. Another thing is, well, oh damn, tomorrow is the U.S. election. Okay, now usually I don't give a damn about the elections, but this year feels different. I feel like this year has more things along the line that I care about, that I know the election might affect. But regardless, can't I'm super hyped to find out who's gonna win. I don't know about you guys. I don't know who you think is gonna win, but just from a social dynamics perspective and looking at the interplay of things going, I actually think that Donald Trump may win again, even though the polls show he won't. You rarely do these things ever go based on logic. So you might be like, man, how stupid can you be to think Trump would win this again? But like as a salesman, I've learned that things are rarely about logic. Okay, people buy on emotions. When it comes to social dynamics, it's rarely about the words you're saying. It's rarely about the logic or meaning behind what you say. It's more about your behaviors. And that's what humans will take action towards. Okay, there's a whole nuanced level of decision making that goes on that's beyond just words and like, okay, yeah, it's hard to explain, but this is just my opinion. I mean, if he wins, if he doesn't win, I don't think that'll impact my life in any way. This is just, for hype's sake, right? And to see whether our analysis of the data checks out. So my insights tell me that he's going to win. If he doesn't, then I guess we look at the insights in a more different way, right? So from this social dynamic perspective, I think he might win. I don't know why. I don't understand politics. I don't have an explanation for you why I think he'll win. But just looking at it from a behavioral standpoint, it seems that more people will vote for him than his opponent. That's just my opinion. I'd love to know what you think. Also, I see we got one viewer over here. Hello. Also want to remind you guys that if you're ever watching this, is not just another video. Okay, there's a chat right there. You can ask any questions. You can just talk, man. That's the difference between live and a video. You don't have to. I'm just saying. But the difference is, if you want to, you can, because it's not just another video. When I end it, it will be another video, but right now it's not. Anyways, two awesome things going on right now. Bitcoin. Oh yes, Bitcoin is on a rise, a massive, massive rise. So in September, it dipped like crazy. It went from $12,000 to 8,000 at some point, 8,000, 8.9. Okay. So September, it just lost like about 4,000. But beginning of October, it started going upward in a trend. And as of 2 days ago, it briefly touched, I'm looking at the graphs right now, it touched 14K, $14,000 before dipping back to, as of right now, it's 13.6 thousand. So Bitcoin this year has went from 3,000 to now 13.6 thousand. Cryptocurrency, I highly suggest you start looking into it right now. The barrier of entry has already gotten really strong, and a lot of people think like, look, this is just a repeat of 2017. It's gonna go to 20K and then it's gonna crash again, or I don't know, man. I really don't know, but I've always believed in cryptocurrency. Every time I've bought in, I've always made back some good investments. And right now, there's a really good bullish rally. I think it's gonna go higher by end of the year. That's my interpretation of it. There's just too much distrust in uh, authorities right now, and in banks and the economy. And a lot of people are looking for places to put their money, put their savings. A lot of them are looking at blockchain uh, as a solution. They're looking at cryptocurrency as the only way where they can protect their store of value, either that or gold. Um, this is just what I'm hearing from influencers online in this space. Uh, I'm no financial expert at all, and I can see the logic behind it. And more importantly, just look at the graphs. Okay, they're going crazy. And my suggestion to you is learn about it as much as you can. Go look at Robert Kiyosaki talking about Bitcoin. Go listen to. Here's a piece of information: Warren Buffett just sold a ton of his banking stocks or shares, and started buying shares in gold mining companies. So Warren Buffett is known to have been against, not against, like he wasn't a believer in gold and Bitcoin in general, but like gold was a weird one for me. Like, why doesn't he believe in that? I never knew. But and this was never published. This happened about maybe 3 months ago, around May, and no media outlet is talking about it. He's selling all of his banking and airline stocks, and he's buying gold mines. Okay, not gold stocks. He's buying mining company stocks for gold, which is where more of the profit is. So this guy goes from not believing in gold to selling everything and buying in on gold, and nobody's covering this. So this is bigger than anything else. This is bigger than, who's going to win the election or the coronavirus. This is huge because this guy doesn't believe in gold, and now he's buying in on gold. What does that tell you about gold and cryptocurrency? What does that tell you about how this billionaire is thinking about the market today? If he's selling his banking shares and buying gold, what does that tell you? Look it up. Seriously, like, this is Warren Buffett, the guy that everyone looks to for investment, and a big gold non-believer is now banking in on gold. He hasn't bought Bitcoin yet, or at least I don't know if he has, but you might want to pay attention. Your money might not be as safe as you think. And yeah, it's interesting times we live in. But you know what? Regardless of who wins tomorrow, regardless of a virus or not, it's the realization that nothing can touch you as long as you've got your purpose in mind and you're taking action towards your purpose. You become invincible when you're aligned with what's happening today, and you're got your goal set, it almost becomes as if everything else is noise. So if this president wins and changes the rules, or that president wins, or a new lockdown comes out, or a new virus, you're not, you're tethered, you're grounded. Okay, you're not like in a floaty zone where you're just being pushed back and forth by the external circumstances of your life situation. Now, yeah, these things do sometimes affect you, absolutely, right? Nobody's invincible. My point is, you need to find a way where your goals are so aligned with who you are that despite the external circumstances, your mission remains unchanged. So part of the reason why I'm still able to work every day, and why 2020 was a great year for me, is because despite everything that's happened, it never changed my trajectory, in the sense that the things I've decided to move towards were unaffected by what's happening in the world. I mean, they were affected, but they weren't negatively affected where I could no longer work on my mission, right? Like when the thing happened, I wasn't like, oh, damn, well, I guess there's nothing I can do but chill now. No, like rather the opposite. Like it was so clear where I had to just readjust. It's almost like a tree fell in the path and you can just like swerve right around it, right? It didn't change that much. The mission is still the same. The day-to-days are still the same. Okay. I got pretty lucky, but at the same time, I don't. I think part of it is just knowing where we're going. This way, you can literally tune out the noise, because you realize that it, what's really changed, right? Like whatever happens in the world, what that's external. It's not dictating how you feel on the inside. You let it dictate, but on the inside, you're actually untouched. There's nothing actually happening to you. So when you can get rid of those, the background noise, you realize that there's only one thing to do, and that there is no alternative, just to keep going forward. And that's a pretty comforting thought, because I mean, well, what else do you have to worry about, right? So I think I'm gonna end it here. I have a lot of stuff to do today. So today I'm mainly just gonna focus on following up with current customers. So a big thing I was doing every quarter is I'd get new customers, and I'd forget about ones that were already showing interest in our services. So one thing I learned is that you should follow up with your interested prospects at least 5, 6, 7, maybe even 12 times. Whereas before, I'd get one prospect, I'd follow up once, and then I'd drop it because I thought, oh, okay, they're not interested. So there's nothing for me to offer. I just let it go. But I realized it's actually really stupid. If you have prospects, you need to keep following up with them 5 times, 12 times. Find new creative ways to follow up with them. So don't just be like, hey, please respond. Hey, I've had people do that with me. Please respond. Instead, you want to find a creative way to continue the conversation and build the relationship with them by offering new value propositions. So if they didn't respond to your message, you can send them something new. But you got to be clever about it. Don't be that. Nobody likes to be annoyed by salespeople. So today, all I'm gonna do is follow up with my customer lists and targeting. Oh no! Oh no! Okay, sorry, we got disconnected for a while. I'm gonna focus on retargeting, some retargeting campaigns to reach people who have already heard about us and turn them into customers. So that is the plan of what? My master. Fuck it. All right. Thank you for tuning in. I'll catch you on the next one. This is Goober Studios, and I approve this message. And we will stay frosty, son. Check you on the next one.